Okay, today's video we're going to talk about Walmart ads or Walmart PPC and how to get the most profit you possibly can running your ads on Walmart.com's platform. I'm going to go through what your advertising options are, which ones work the best, give you some different examples where we had clients that we actually ran ads on their platform, what worked, what didn't work, and then of course from there, what kind of return you should expect running ads on this platform. So this will be information you're not going to find elsewhere on YouTube on the best way to go from starting to the actual maximum amount of money you can make on the platform. That said, we'll get directly into the content. So first thing I want to point out right up front, okay, here, 500-pound gorilla that's in the room, or the pink elephant that's in the room. Walmart.com has clientele that are discount shoppers. Not all, but a lot. And I can tell you when we tried to market an expensive mailbox product already on the platform, that's more than your typical, $50, $100 for a mailbox. It doesn't work that great at all. If you, on the other hand, if you got a product that kind of is on the lower end of the pricing scheme in your market for comparable items, you're in the bottom 20% of priced products in your category, Walmart's a fantastic option. We actually had a company who sold paint products. They had cheaper brands, more expensive brands. And in that particular instance, the more expensive brands did not perform that great, so we just took them off. But the least expensive brands that they sold actually worked pretty good. So I'm confident to say here that if you're selling something to a more affluent clientele that wants quality, you probably aren't going to have that much success on Walmart.com. Walmart, for the most part, I'm kind of prejudiced, I'll just say up front. I'm not trying to be politically correct here. Walmart sells shit products for the most part. And it's a shame because what they end up doing is they end up pressing their vendors. Of course, this is for in-store products, but they press their vendors to get cheaper and cheaper prices. They want to know all your raw material costs so they can know exactly how much they can chisel you down to get the maximum profit they can on the products that they are going to sell through their stores. And then what they do with a lot of premium brands that we of course want to be able to get placement in Walmart, they'll go to those brands and they'll initially start them out with an okay deal. They'll pay okay prices, and then eventually they'll try to chisel them down. Once you've already scaled up and you're kind of addicted to Walmart sales, because it can bring in a lot of sales. And then what ultimately they push people to do is lower the quality of their product. They do this for lots and lots of different brands. The brand you buy of paint or a bicycle or whatever in Walmart, that same product outside of Walmart will be a better quality product with the same exact actual brand name and product name. The SKU is going to be different. If you actually check the SKU on that product, the Walmart SKU is going to be different than the SKU you're going to find outside of Walmart because they're forced to cheapen the product to comply with Walmart's demands to keep lowering the product cost and still stay in business selling through Walmart. So you just got to, knowing that, going in to shop at Walmart, you're going to have to know that the product quality is going to be garbage because that's how they've naturally set up the system. And you don't have any choice but to sell kind of garbage, if you will. So, Walmart.com is a little bit different. Certainly, they don't push you the same way. But because of the reason why I bring up what I did was this has generated a type of buyer who expects low prices. Even though Walmart doesn't always have the low prices, they trick you in a lot of cases. They have banner items that are very, very, very cheap to get you thinking that everything in the store is really, really cheap, but the other items aren't so cheap. So it's kind of like a fake out. Like on the end caps at the store, you get 4 pounds of cheese balls for $2. And then you're like, wow, everything in this store is so damn cheap. And then you go buy a microwave. The microwave's not even cheaper than what Target would sell. But it faked you out, that cheese ball, those cheese balls faked you out into thinking it's the cheapest product. So anyway, they developed a clientele at Walmart as a result of all this that is trained to want cheap prices or think that they're getting cheap prices by going to Walmart.com. So the people, and this carries over to Walmart.com, at Walmart, and then this carries over to Walmart.com as well, even though a little bit more affluent buyer certainly is on Walmart.com versus like in-store. There's a lot of overlap in the customers from the in-store and the Walmart.com, and so you just know you can't fight the tide when it comes to marketing. Trying to market to somebody who wants a cheap item when you have an expensive item, there's not market message match there, if you will, as Dan Kennedy, if you know who that is, mentions. You always got to have your message on what your advertising is to match what the customer wants if you expect a good return. Online ads, it's especially true because you're paying every time the ad shows up and when it doesn't get clicked. So your cost per click on your ads goes up, the less relevant your ad is and your product is to that consumer. So if you're trying to market expensive items to people on Walmart.com when they're normally looking for cheap items, your cost per click basically is going to go up, which means your ROAS is going to go down, or return on an account spend is going to go down because there's not message market match. So anyway, with all that said, if you still think you're in the middle, like maybe you're in the middle ground in terms of the pricing, it may work, it may not. It doesn't obviously hurt to try it out. Walmart does have minimums of $100 a day on their campaign, so it's not like you can. Unfortunately, you can't try out a $5 a day campaign and see if it works. But if you're already doing $1 million plus in sales through your e-commerce business and you're making it work on Amazon, I would definitely try Walmart out as long as you're not in the premium category or part of your market, because then or at least until you've tried everything else for your market, like running on ads on eBay, which I just made a video about that. Don't go on Walmart.com. So that all said and out of the way, there are really only two ad placement types running on Walmart.com. Okay, there's the sponsored product ads, and then there's the sponsored brand ads. For the most part, the sponsored product ads get a 2 to 3 times better ROAS than the sponsored brand ads. Why? Because in my mind, which I don't obviously have data to back this, but it's because of the formatting of the ad. Of course, products are shown in the brand ads, but it's not featuring one product itself per se, and it doesn't draw the same kind of click, if you will, that the one product by itself with the price does or is. So all you got to know is when we did this, the sponsored product ads get basically a quite a bit better return. So you always want to start out with the stuff the low-hanging fruit, the most profitable stuff first, and then work your way up to stuff that's less and less potentially profitable. But then, you work those things more to try to get those to work, which everything will work. It's just a matter of how much. You take the profit you make from these sponsored product ads, reinvest it back into the brand ads, which you should always basically run both. If you're going to get success on one, you'll get success on the other. Anyway, for sponsored product ads, if you're wondering where those show up, it's basically on a carousel. So if there's a search result, like if you type in, I want, brown panties on Walmart.com and there's no results there, a carousel will show up saying, maybe you would be interested in these other items. Or ultimately on a product page or on a search results page, there will be a carousel ad block, which has a bunch of other products. Maybe you're also interested in these. That's what you'll be able to show up there with sponsored product ads. You'll also be able to show up on the search results across Walmart.com for the keywords you're targeting, at least in the middle itself of the page, not at the very top, because at the very top of search results, that's your ad placement for sponsored brand ads. And then you also have product pages themselves. On the product pages for other competitors' items, you can also have your ad running there if you're doing sponsored product ads, which, by the way, just like with Amazon, the best kind of ads to target are the items that are directly competing with your items in the same price range. So because obviously if somebody's looking seriously at product A that directly competes with your product, then the likelihood that they're going to end up buying something from your category is higher than if they just searched for it by, in general what it is and then getting a click that way. So you want to target, of course, all your brand keywords, because you don't want people stealing customers away from you. But then once you've done that, you target competitor keywords, and then you target general category-based keywords that describe your product in general. So anyway, that's sponsored product ads, and like I said, sponsored brand ads are at the very top of the search results. That's where you get shown with those. Now, there's an option for manual or automatic campaigns with Walmart.com. Automatic ones are easy. You don't have to really do anything. There's no keywords you have to upload. It finds the keywords for you. But I recommend manual campaigns using data from your Amazon campaigns to do it with, and run your keywords in exact match only format, even though you can do phrase match and broad match keyword match types on Walmart.com if you wanted to. So, and the reason why I say take your Amazon data is because Amazon has a much better matching algorithm in terms of finding which people on Amazon should be shown your ad, because they've got so much of a head start on Walmart.com. So if you just start out with an automated campaign on Walmart.com to find which keywords work, and let them find them for you, your campaign's going to run really wild at first and get a really shitty return. Versus if you could run ads, if you weren't even running ads on Amazon right now, you'd be better off running a campaign, a sponsored product campaign on Amazon, find out which keywords work there, and then use those keywords on Walmart. And for the most part, so then with that all said, if you're not doing Amazon, I would always do Amazon first, then Walmart, because there's more potential and it will work quicker. But then once you find out what keywords work on Amazon, you just move them over to Walmart. That'll pretty much carry over 1-to-1, even though it won't be a direct match, i.e. what keywords work on Amazon will work on Walmart, but it'll be fairly close. And close enough, once you take those keywords and put them in exact match on Walmart.com, you're going to basically get a return right away. You're not going to be wasting time and money. So, once though the sponsored product ads do work, targeting those keywords in exact match, as I mentioned, you can then move on to your sponsored brand ads and target those same keywords that worked on your sponsored product ads. Because ultimately, if the sponsored product ads work to get you the kind of return that you're looking for, then all sponsored brand ads do is just get you a bigger ad on the same search results, if you will. Now, I know I said on sponsored product ads you show up more than just on the search results page, but for the most part, you're still targeting keywords. So if a keyword works on sponsored product ads, it'll work on sponsored brand ads. Even though, like I said, the ROAS will be lower with sponsored brand ads, assuming you were paying the same cost per click as sponsored product ads. And so with that, you can actually be willing to pay, I would pay less per click for clicks from the sponsored brand ads, which you may not even be able to show up because you're bidding so low at that point. But at least you're not going to be running your campaigns at a loss to try to expand your sales using and through sponsored brand ads. So pretty much that's the process that I would go through, and the most efficient way I found to run ads on Walmart.com. Now, if you want to expand further, once you've already done all this, you could set an automated campaign up, going back to this, automatic campaign, and do so, and set up a campaign with a small budget. Like, if you're spending $1,000 a day on Walmart.com, set up a campaign that does basically $100 a day, 10% of your spend, on this automated campaign, and then let it run for a few months, because it's going to run really wild. Their system isn't very efficient at first, but it'll start picking up keywords that work and will convert that you never got from your Amazon campaign. So it'll give you more potential in the long run. And I mentioned 10% of spend because if you're limiting that automated campaign to 10% of the spend, it won't drag down your overall account too much to where it's unprofitable at any given time. But you're investing 10% into it, which will get you a little bit less return, obviously, overall. Until several months go by, the system finds more keywords that you can do, and then you can ultimately capitalize on that automated campaign. And basically what I would do is find the keywords that work on the automated campaign once you're running it with that smaller budget, put those into a separate campaign, i.e. like into another manual campaign, which you could label like keywords from automated campaign that work. And then so you could single them out and then more on a more refined basis, drill down on those, because ultimately you can find out what the return is on each individual term you found there through your automated campaign, set the perfect bid that'll get you the most clicks and the most sales at the ROI/ROAS that you want. So anyway, the automated campaign will work slow, but you're limiting your budget so it won't drag your count averages down too much. And it'll eventually give you more and more potential on the platform, given Walmart has its own working searches that won't match up exactly with the working searches on Amazon itself. So it'll have, because it has a different clientele. Walmart has people that are looking for a deal more so than on Amazon. And they search a little bit differently. Looking at Walmart, there's items that they can get locally, obviously, and they can get delivered to their local Walmart and they can go pick it up there. They shop differently on Walmart.com, and that if they can return something, it's easier to return at a local Walmart. So they're willing to buy stuff on Walmart.com and they're not willing to buy on Amazon.com, and vice versa, obviously. If they wanted something that's more smaller and they don't need it as urgently, also we'll just say. Because obviously part of what Walmart.com, what they allow you to do is buy stuff that it'll show you what's in stock at your local Walmart. So you could start out on Walmart.com and find it inside their local store. So you're getting a different motive, if you will, or type of buyer itself. And if you're not looking to get it quite as fast, 2 days is already good, and you don't think you're going to return it or whatever, and this kind of stuff, then you might go to just Amazon instead of Walmart. So they have different types of clientele, expecting different things, buying for different reasons. So with all that said, the automated campaign will help you find new searches that work, that wouldn't work necessarily on Amazon. So, and with all this said, okay, the reason why you get on Walmart.com is because you're selling products online. It'll get you tapped into another buyer, because some people don't go to Amazon. They only go to Walmart. They don't go to Google and search for things. They only go to Walmart. So if you don't get on Walmart, you're missing out on a section of the market that would buy that you're not getting in front of now. And so even if you were to break even with the ROAS on Walmart.com, it would still be good, because there's going to be a certain percentage of the buyers, or should I say searches or searchers on Walmart.com that find your product that are going to go Google your company name, find your website, buy on your website, or get to your website and then call and ask you questions, because they're not going to get that help at Walmart.com itself. And then because people are searching you out on Google, Google recognizes that, then your organic rankings on Google is going to get better, because it looks like you're more of an authority at that point, profiting or capitalizing on the people that are searching for the stuff that the category of items you sell on Walmart.com, and then going to Google to look for it later, which makes it look like you are a bigger brand than kind of you already are, given that, as an organic ranking signal, people making brand level searches on Google, that's one of the main things that they like to look at to see how authoritative you are, and they want to promote the people that are authoritative higher up in the search results. So anyway, even if you were to break even on your Walmart ads, you would make it up. You would definitely make your profit just from the searches you're going to get that wouldn't have come to your site if you weren't showing up on Walmart.com. And then furthermore, a lot of people will find you on Walmart.com in your category, but they're not going to buy right away, and so the return ain't going to look so great, but it'll affect your overall sales. It'll give you a lift in your overall sales, because people are now, as a whole, that the people that are going to buy from your category that you're in, or niche that you're in, are going to be knowing of you more so at a higher level or more often than they did before, because like I said, certain people go to Walmart.com exclusively or more than other platforms to search for a product. So they're going to find it on Walmart.com. They're not going to come back, or they're not going to buy until later, but you still get the sale. So the tracking inside Walmart.com won't pick up every sale that you could get particularly for more expensive items that are over like 50 bucks, because people think about those longer. And then the tracking gets less accurate the more expensive of item you sell, because the time it takes from people from the time they find your item to the time they buy is longer. The longer that time period is, the less tracking accuracy you get, because it doesn't do well with people coming back later to see if they buy or not. And the longer it is, the less of it, those conversions it picks up. You'll see your overall sales go up because you're getting in front of a really, really good buyer, because somebody who searches for your category of item on Walmart.com, that's as relevant as that of a prospect as you can get. So it's basically just as good as Amazon and Google ads where people are looking for your products. It's actually better than Google. Amazon and Walmart would be your most relevant buyer you can find, because these people have credit cards and they're ready to buy for the most part. And so you want to get as much of that as you can. So you should be looking at doing something called a MER analysis, where you look at your overall sales before you're running your Walmart ads, and then run your Walmart ads, and then see how much your overall sales come up. Because like I said, not all the tracking that Walmart has, it won't pick up every sale that you get through the tracking. So the sales that doesn't get picked up by the tracking, you kind of judge that by seeing how much your overall sales go up once you've started Walmart.com advertising up for your brand. And respectively, if your sales go up, you should double your spend on Walmart.com and see how much more your sales go up. And then you just keep doing that over and over again. So, trying to raise your spend on Walmart and then see a directly proportional increase in your overall sales to maximize what you can get from Walmart.com advertising, given you're not going to be able to see all the sales through your tracking alone. And tied to the tracking situation as well, you should look at, if you have repeat customers, how much an average customer usually buys on average. If you have a website, look at how many purchases a person makes once they buy your product. And with that, factor that into what you're willing to pay for a ROAS target on your Walmart.com ads, because you might find the average buyer buys 3 times. Well, if you know you can only spend 10% of your product cost on marketing, but they buy on average 3 times, you'll be able to settle for a 300% ROI or ROAS on Walmart.com, because that 300% ROAS really means 1,000% ROAS once you figure in the additional purchases that person's going to make typically on average. And so it's because obviously the less of ROAS that you're dictating that you need from Walmart.com, and the higher you're willing to bid as a result of that, the more overall sales you're going to get out of the platform. So if you're only looking at the initial purchase to see if the ad's profitable or not, you're only going to get a little bit of action because you're going to get outbid by other people. Whereas if you're looking at what the full lifetime value of a customer is, you'll be able to get way more sales, because now other people, when they're not looking at lifetime value of a customer and you can afford to take up the most ad space. So therefore you'll get the most sales. With all that said, okay, the paint company, just so that the returns are great on Walmart.com right now because it's still fairly unsaturated. Once we narrow down the products to the cheaper products, as I mentioned at the start of the video we had to do for that paint company, we were over a 900% ROAS on the campaign, whereas before it was like 350% ROAS itself. And then of course the mailbox company, the return was terrible. We're talking about like a 60-70% ROAS on there. So we're losing a ton of money on that. So that gives you some sort of contrast of what's possible with this. The more on the cheaper side of things, the higher the ROAS I would kind of expect. And certainly if you're only getting like a 200 or 300% ROAS starting out doing this system, that's fine. All you got to do is just lower your bids. You won't get quite as much traffic, but at least you'll get some sales at the ROAS that you need to be successful at your company with the right margins and everything else. So, because you can obviously set what you're willing to pay with these manual campaigns for each keyword. And what you do is you use a bid modification formula to find out mathematically what you can bid to get the ROAS that you want for each keyword, and that'll get you the most sales you can from each keyword at the target ROAS that you want for each keyword. Google bid modification formula, and you'll see what I mean in terms of how to figure the exact mathematical bid you should have for each keyword to get the ROAS that you want while getting the most sales as possible from the platform at the same time. With that said, I'll wrap it up pretty much with that. If you liked the video, I have a lot of other videos on this channel about other money-making ideas and strategies to use Google, Facebook, Bing, all the different ad platforms out there. As I manage about 50 different ad accounts at any given time for our clients, and I'm giving you the working strategies we find are working here at our agency for our clients and to guarantee the results. We have to guarantee clients results on their campaigns just to get paid. And so we got to know what we're doing, and those strategies I'm literally giving to you for free on this channel. You're not going to find that with other YouTubers channels that don't run agencies like I do and work directly with the clients or with somebody who manages a couple of campaigns. I have a wide breadth of knowledge on all the ad platforms, which ones work, which ones don't, what works with those ad platforms, and then seeing it for multiple companies on those same ad platforms so that I understand what generally works and what doesn't. So you should definitely subscribe. I also got a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog where you can find other great information for myself on actual money-making strategies that work to run online ads for your company. If you like the channel, you'll love the blog. Beyond that, if you have any questions about this or anything else that you'd like to ask ad-wise, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel and try to help as much as I can put you on the right track and path to making money with your ads. As a last note, I just want to mention, like I said, we offer PPC services to our clients here, and I manage clients' campaigns directly, at least on the strategy side. If you want somebody who's excellent at getting results on ads, and you have something you think is really hot, that all it needs is the right advertising right now, I'd love to hear from you. I can estimate how much sales results I can get for you in that case, short term, and then what I can actually promise for you before even taking any kind of fee, because that's what we specialize here at my agency. So obviously we don't work with everybody because you have to have a decent product or service that will sell well, but with that said, if it looks like you do have something decent, we can work with you without charging any fees up front. Sometimes we'll just work a deal with the client where we'll take a percentage of the sales increase you get. We'll take a certain percentage of your sales growth and charge no fees outright unless we raise your sales. We like to do that more so nowadays because we know our strategies work. We can make the most that way. But you have to reach out to me for me to look at your stuff and decide if we can work together. GuaranteePPC.com is where you can reach me, and we can have a discussion about what you're trying to sell using ads. Beyond that, as a side note, if you're just looking for somebody that knows how to work in your industry already, we sell campaign templates that work for dozens of different industries. So you may just be in a space that we've already got results, and we sell the campaign templates and landing page templates that work for those industries if we've been in your industry for a one-time flat fee. And that'll bypass all the work you got to do to build up a multi-million-dollar ad campaign for your business. So, and if we haven't worked in your industry, of course, we'll build you something and not take fees until we get you some success up front as well, just like I just mentioned before. And of course, a lot of people are using these campaigns just to start new businesses. Set up a plumbing campaign that we, using one of the ad templates that we have for the plumbing industry, outsource all the work to a local plumber, take 10% off the top for themselves and for their profit, and ended up making a decent amount of money doing that kind of exact thing. So there's a great money-making opportunity here per se, having a campaign that will crush your local competition in a niche in your local market where you're at, given that we've already run a campaign for years in that same niche in another geographic part of the country, if you will. So with that said, I'll wrap it up. With that, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was informative for you, and I hope to see you in my next one where we have another great strategy for you there. See you later.